Yeah, so we will be covering about the natural cleaners that we can produce. One is, I will also be covering about the do-it-yourself process, where each one of us can make it easily with the locally available raw materials. And Praanapoorna Collective is right now focusing on reviving most of the traditionally used products. So because of that, the raw material is abundantly available in all parts of India. So the process that we have tried to adopt and, to mainstream and to look at an industrial level of production with the community model is what I'll be sharing with you today. So currently it was not like a design that we wanted to create disinfectants, but we just realized that when we started looking at non-chemical natural ingredients to be used, and then when we submitted it for lab tests, we realized that it had a great disinfectant property as well. And that was how we started preparing the entire set of the home cleaners, the mosquito repellents for clean air. Then all our sewage water today is actually whatever you flush down is going and entering the water bodies. And most of this water, which it goes into the lakes or the rivers, are being reused for our food, growing our food. And it all, even the city water for Bangalore comes way downstream the Kaveri after the wastewater goes and joins the river. And this for me was very disturbing because it was never in our history that our elders did the mixing of wastewater with the drinking source. But we are doing that. And this was when we started looking at least let us start looking at switching what we are pouring into the toilet bowls. So what enters the sewage, if we can start shifting small drops, we can look at least our own contribution in the chemicals can be shifted. And then for me personally, the big problem was my own daughter's skin allergies. Then we had to shift our entire lifestyle. This started almost in 2000. And it was almost for 10 years that I was searching for a solution. So then we looked at switching from foods. There were a lot of foods that were allergic to her. Then whatever we use as daily, your shampoos to your skin creams, within 1 minute, this can enter the bloodstream. Even the cleaners and the sprays that you use in your living spaces, within 1 minute, you can ingest it through your lungs, it can enter your bloodstream. And this is not easy for our body to digest or filter it out of the system. And that is when it gets logged into the inner organs. And that is when we realized most of the filtration mechanism doesn't work. And that is when it tries to throw it out. It tries to throw it out of the skin. And that is when the skin allergies increase. So this understanding was what got me into really looking at how can we replace all the chemicals that we use in our daily lives. So one was, it is easy to stop using, but we need these conveniences. We need to clean and maintain our own health as well. So today, I think the bigger pandemic that is looming behind the scenes is the antimicrobial resistance, which we are seeing as secondary infections that people are getting from the hospitals. And this is where the bacteria, the viruses, the germs are becoming more resistant to antibiotics and the disinfectants that are being used. So these are all called the biocides. So these are the adverse impact on our health. Then when all this goes back into the wastewater, into the water bodies, it also affects the microorganisms to the organisms living in the water. So we are not only contaminating our own living spaces, we are also contaminating the wastewater. And this is overall impact on the biodiversity of Earth as well. So when we looked at deeper into this science, we realized how does our immunity really happen? So we are actually a combination of multiple species of microorganisms, and these are what are the good microorganisms. Most of them are in our gut, and this is what help us in our digestion and help us absorb the nutrients from the food that we eat. And these are very much required for us to be healthy. And these microorganisms come to us. One is it's already present in our gut, and it comes to us when we are born from the mother's womb. And most of us who have had a natural birth, we actually imbibe most of these natural microorganisms. And the second part comes from the food that we eat. So it is very important that the food that we eat is grown without chemicals. That is when most microorganisms from the soil can naturally get into the fruits and the vegetables that we eat and get into our food system itself. Then the water that we drink. So because of the overfiltration, our system is, assumption is we have to kill everything. So the antibiotics that we take also looks at killing everything. So of course it kills both the good and the bad microbes. Now, where is the good microbes going to come back from? So I think even the allopathic treatment today has, after your antibiotic treatment, they come back with, how to increase your gut microbes. There is another set of medication that they are giving. So this is something that we can ourselves look at, how we can reduce the toxic overload in our own systems, in our lifestyles, and look at improving our immunity. And the more diverse foods that you eat, it becomes, you need all those enzymes for our well-being. So this, we try to do all 100% natural products, and citrus peel bioenzymes is what we started making. This is a fermentation process. I will cover the process in the next few slides. This is extract of natural citrus peel acids. And we use soap nuts. Soap nuts, most of you might be aware, has a lot of lather. These are berries that grow on trees. And if any one of you have seen, one tree can yield almost 30 to 40 kg of soap nuts in a year. It's once a year crop. And most people in the coastal areas had one tree in their backyard, and that was sufficient for their entire soap needs for the whole year for a family of 4. So we are looking at planting more of these trees around. It's already available, and currently the source is mostly from the forests of, so we only use, there are 2 types of species. The Himalayan species is different. We use mostly the South Indian because we want to promote the local sourcing so that transportation can be reduced. So in the process, we can make completely 100% eco-friendly and 100% natural origin raw materials can be used for this. And this is also creating an effective microorganism culture. And the microorganism comes from the jaggery, which is added to the peels in the proportion of 1:3:10. I'll cover that shortly. And when this enters the wastewater, it is completely biodegradable. This wastewater can enter the garden for your plants as well, because it's already in a diluted form. And we are also trying to see, if you make it yourself, the cost of producing this is going to be lesser than 20 rupees, which can easily replace the soap oils and the acids that most of the economically weaker sections use. So, and it becomes very affordable for you as well, in terms of, if you can make these disinfectants yourself, you can save packaging, and your wastewater is also can be reused. So we also try to incorporate this as a handcrafted process rather than looking at machinery, so that livelihoods can be increased. It more or less works out the same in terms of the production cost. And these enzymes clean and disinfect, and it's completely safe for kids and pets. And when this goes back into the soil, there is no process waste as well. So all the leftover citrus peels can be reused in the next batch as the mother culture. And even if you want to compost it, it can be added into the dry leaves for composting, and it can be fed into the agricultural land as well for more of your food produce. And these are the set of products that we have already created. It didn't happen in one day or 1 year. It took us almost 6 years of personal experimentation. So now we have the entire home cleaner range of floor, toilet, then your laundry detergent, which comes with soap nuts, and there is entire kitchen scrub. So you can replace your utensil wash to your entire chimney cleaning, all your Mr. Muzzle and the sieve, the wipes can also be replaced with this. And most of them are antibacterial as well. Then we also created the hand wash and the shampoo. And all of these are actually cold room temperature process. It doesn't involve much heat. So what we call prana, or the life force of these cleaners, are retained. The natural origin raw material life force is retained. So this actually feeds us the energy. So when we use it, it increases the life force around us. And once this is ready, it has unlimited shelf life. So if you can keep it in airtight containers, it can come for many, many years. And we didn't feel the need to use any preservatives or synthetic surfactants, because the soap nut is a surfactant by itself, but it won't lather a lot like your chemical surfactants, or your synthetic biodegradable surfactants also lather quite a bit. And if you have realized, there is a lot of lake lathering happening, and this is what is cutting off the oxygen from getting into the lake water as well. So all of this can be avoided by switching your cleaners. Yeah, so we also got the lab testing done. So these are the tests that were conducted. The test standards are here. So we did an antiviral, the entire antibacterial. We did it against 6 aureus. And we did the antiviral test as well against the adenovirus. So today, whatever they claim as antiviral disinfectants, none of them have been able to test against the coronavirus. The assumption is bacteria is more difficult to kill, so any antibacterial should work on antiviral is the assumption. They have tested it on the previous corona, the SARS version, but current coronavirus cannot be isolated. So none of those disinfectants or and one is, we are looking at a circular economy model here, where we are looking at not only consuming the raw materials that are available, but we are also looking at growing more of these natural raw materials that we may need. So we are also looking at tying up with the locals, farmers, and currently we are already sourcing some of the products from what the tribals collect. And we are looking at these traders from whom we procure some of this. We are looking at a livelihood projects that can be created at the source where the raw materials are available, so that the next level value added products can be added, and then it can be supplied to the local community. So we are trying to look at local production and consumption, which will actually reduce the product from being made in one place and transported a long distance.